After years of waiting, Starfield finally received a cinematic trailer, and while we were all hoping to see some gameplay by this point, personally I'd rather give developers the time they need to make the best work possible. But we still did get something, so let's see what we can find. To start, what do we know so far about Starfield? We know it will be a role-playing game where, as Todd Howard says, you can be who you want. So while it's unclear how strong the narrative focus of the game will be as of yet, or if side quests or the main story will be more of the motivating factor, it's likely the game will have a similar character builder and customization to the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games. You'll be a blank slate and likely able to affect the universe around you by your choices. This is a brand new universe being crafted by Bethesda, so while there may be some references to Fallout or Elder Scrolls and share some of their mechanics, this is its own world and story. According to Todd Howard, Constellation is the last group of space explorers. Does that mean that space is so explored by this point it's not a very sought after profession, or is it such a dangerous profession and very few people choose to do it? Or maybe it's more political, a la Mass Effect, where exploring the universe could mean finding horrifying new civilizations that could wipe out everything we know. Well, we don't know. What we do know is that there's concept art of multiple worlds being shown with different terrain, whether this be a metropolis, an alien jungle, or a city built over a vast stretch of water. And thanks to this concept art, we also get a glimpse of some of the aliens. The ones shown here are more crab-like and seem well suited for their environment. While I'm sure various races will have the technology to travel to different worlds, hopefully that means the local creatures on each planet will be specific to that planet and its terrain. And speaking of different terrain, we were also shown concept art for various outfits the character can wear depending on what type of environment they'll be in. Again, it's hard to say if wearing the proper gear will be a requirement for traversing certain terrains, or if this will be more aesthetic, but it draws the question. Finally, before digging into the trailer itself, in Bethesda's behind-the-scenes video of Starfield, we can see someone typing away at a document. So what does it say, and does it reveal anything? Well, enhance. 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 Okay, that's actually pretty blurry. So here's what it says. United Colonies logo at the top. SVS Def logo below it to the left, UV Vanguard below it to the right. Urgent communique. Please be on alert. Pirates of the Crimson Fleet have extended far beyond the Crick system and have established footholds in the Sagan, Cheyenne, Lunara, and Narion systems. Both SysDef and the Vanguard are committed to ridding United Colonies space of these parasites. This is clearly no longer just a Freestar collective problem. Also be advised that the Crimson Fleet is not a single organized entity or faction, rather it's a loose confederation of individual captains, all organized under the same banner. Shown here is the symbol, or Jolly Roger, they've adopted. Anyone displaying that symbol is assumed to be associated with the Crimson Fleet and can be terminated at will. Crimson Fleet logo here. Any questions should be addressed to the Lieutenant John Twala at Mast for the Vanguard and Commander Kibwe Ikande aboard the UC Vigilance for SysDef. UC Fleet Admiral Pasquale Logan, Mast, Military Administrative and Scientific Triumvirate. New Atlantis, Planet Jemison, Alpha Centauri. So where does this little drop of the story leave us? I imagine that, similar to Elder Scrolls and Fallout, the Pirates of the Crimson Fleet are a faction that you choose to fight against, join, or do some sort of missions for. And the same goes for Mast, who would seem to be the general government in charge of the United Colonies. This is pure speculation right now, but I do wonder if New Atlantis is this particular bit of concept art we saw in the trailer with the city over a vast sea. So a bunch of what we do know is thanks to this Bethesda presentation video, and taking all of that, let's see what we can gather from the cinematic trailer.
Constellation Starship Frontier, we have you on scanners.
The trailer begins noting that the Starship Frontier NG-1350 is a part of the Constellation, and thus a vehicle meant for space exploration. Next, we see an astronaut entering the starship from inside. On the left-hand side of the ship is a small but clear medical station. I think it's safe to gather from this that the starship will likely serve as a resting point for your character, similar to a home in Fallout or Elder Scrolls. It's probably a safe place to return to where you can always heal up. Our pilot climbs aboard the ship, and inside are a number of tables with interesting items on them. These include a flight manual and mug for Nova Galactic. While we have no idea exactly how the RPG mechanics will work in Starfield, the flight manual does somewhat resemble the books for leveling up your skills in Fallout. We see a couple books, Omega and Sailing All Around the World, written by Captain Joshua Stockham, the Constellation Spacefarer's Guide, a broken helmet, and a unique Constellation box. The box says LifePack Interlink on it, and a physical version of the box was even built and shown in Bethesda's behind-the-scenes video. In that video, we see the box contains a watch and a badge with Constellation's logo on it. While those may just be some sort of pre-order bonuses, or a Starfield-inspired merch watch, we can at least gather a year from this, established 2188. I have a feeling this is in reference to Constellation itself, and Constellation began exploring the galaxy in 2188. In-game, for all we know, these boxes could simply be what are used to store goodies you'll find, but we'll eventually find out. On the side of the first table, which has a number of items on it, it's a little hard to read the display, especially with the glare on it. The top left looks like it says Astro Guidance Reference, and there's an ETA of -002203. This station could be in-game, where you choose your destinations to fly to. Before moving on, I do of course need to note the gun that the pilot sets down on the table. For some reason, a warning logo is flashing on the gun, and it's displaying that it has 24 ammo left. I have absolutely no idea if a gameplay mechanic similar to Fallout's VATS will be in-game, but I have to imagine there will be more to the gameplay than only FPS mechanics. As of yet, it's unclear what the flashing warning sign is, but perhaps it means some sort of weapon degradation system. The other item on the table next to the gun looks like some kind of grenade, or, if we're dreaming here, almost looks like a lightsaber. The middle portion looks like a grip, so it's clearly meant to be held. We then see plenty of notes written on the inside window. The top says, best settings for the engine, ship, and ARV, whatever that is. Below says, upgrade reactor P. Remember, Cydonia Security does not have a sense of humor. And finally, Vasco, we're out of Tranquilite A. Do not get decaf. This is the first time we've seen Cydonia mentioned, but I'm guessing that's either a city or world in the game. Meanwhile, Tranquilite A would seem to be the game's coffee variation of Nuka-Cola. On the wall are several photos of a mech from a third-person perspective. My guess is that those are actual screenshots of gameplay. We see mechs in the trailer, and I have a feeling that you'll not only be able to control them, but when you do, you enter this third-person perspective. The pilot is also a fan of the violin sounds of Alyssa Demil... something. Clearly, your pilot is a man of class. Also taped to the wall are schematics. While I can't make out what most of it says, one note states, we have so far been unable to determine what happens in the reactor. There are many theories I've seen online speculating that this could create a wormhole of some sort or some other system of fast travel. A glimpse of the outside world shows what looks to be a moon-like environment, some kind of station nearby, and, as I mentioned before, a mech. The mech climbs aboard the ship. Is this the playable character, or are you the pilot? Alternatively, could this mech be a companion with personality? It's difficult to say, but perhaps you won't be alone when traversing on the frontier. Now, let's travel into the cockpit. Gravity, power, and life systems are shown as a part of this, which makes me wonder if you can actually upgrade your starship and this is a part of that. On another display in the cockpit, we can see weapons, shields, and a boost function. This would indicate that there will be space battles on top of traversing the various planets. That said, piloting the ship hasn't been confirmed, and I could be reading too much into this. Finally, the release date is shown November 11, 2022. And that's everything I was able to break down from the Starfield trailer. Let me know if there's anything you noticed that I missed. If you enjoyed this, consider watching our breakdowns for Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild 2. We're also streaming as a part of Play for All, where we're raising money for Able Gamers charity. If that interests you, please consider giving it a watch, and I'll see you guys next time.